There's a fungus in the sea that doesn't stay. There, I knew it was them the moment I saw the envelope. On it, my name handwritten in black ink. It was waiting on my desk when I returned from lecture, tucked beneath a folder I hadn't touched in years. The others thought it was a grant letter. One of my colleagues joked that I finally sold my soul to Big Pharma. If only he knew. I laughed along. I didn't open it right away. I waited until I got home, locked the door, turned off the lights. I slid a knife under the flap and peeled it. Open. Inside was a single sentence, printed on a thick card. You are requested for field analysis at Site AV. Nothing else, except for a faded red stamp, a white trident piercing upward from beneath the waves. The order my hands went cold. I sat on the kitchen floor for nearly an hour, card in one hand, breath caught somewhere between my ribs. I promised I wouldn't, I whispered. I thought I'd left it all behind. They said one final mission, and you're out. But I guess that tricked me. Like they do with everyone. They don't threaten you, but they gently remind you that you still owe them. That they know what you did in Madagascar. That someone, somewhere, still has the unredacted footage. That your sister's college tuition wasn't a miracle after all. The next morning, a courier delivered a package with nothing but a burner phone inside. It buzzed the moment I took it from him. A voice spoke through the static. You will be escorted to Site AV within 48 hours. Your credentials have been reinstated. Bring no outside electronics. You will be briefed en route. This anomaly has been designated radiology. I didn't say a word. There was nothing I could really say. Before the call ended, the voice added something else. Oh, and Iris. Official records list the town as uninhabited. Disregard local activity and don't engage unless authorized. I held the phone until the call cut. Afterwards, I started at the wall for a long time. Then I packed not much, just what I really needed. Gloves, notebooks, a flashlight. I left my laptop, my real phone. Left the necklace my sister gave me. No personal items. Nothing that might compromise emotional clarity. As the order put it, exactly 48 hours later, I was in the back of a van with no windows. The air smelled faintly of ammonia and cold metal. The walls were lined with that typical dull, institutional gray the order loved to follow. Two others sat with me, a man and woman, both armored, guards, clearly, with order-issued weapons and black masks clipped to their belts. One of them glanced at me a few times before speaking up. You're Iris, right? He asked. I didn't answer at first, then nodded. Was I replied, nodded back, quiet for a moment. I didn't think they'd pull you back in, not after the incident in Madagascar. I looked away, slightly ashamed. He must have realized how it sounded, because he added, still alive. That's what matters. The woman next to him unzipped a flat pouch and handed me a sealed envelope. Inside was a thick briefing file and a single-page mission card. The first line read, Site AV, Active Environmental Anomaly, Protocol, Brine Burst. I flipped through the pages as the van rattled along the gravel road. The report was stitched together from field notes, satellite analysis, and biohazard logs. I won't bore you with all the details. Here's the important part. There was an outbreak of an anomalous marine fungus resembling red algae in a coastal town. Symptoms include tissue degradation, behavioral regression, vocal disruption, and systemic mutation. The town was designated uninhabited, and a quarantine perimeter was enforced. Satellite images were falsified. Civilians were listed as relocated. I turned the page and felt my stomach drop. 0.83 confirmed casualties, 12 unrecovered. The subjects remained in a degenerative state, with their vocal cords either ruptured or restructured. Their behavior was listed as erratic, but not overly hostile. The objective was simple: to collect fungal samples, assess the mutation, and determine what was the main cause of the outbreak. At the bottom of the briefing, a single line was handwritten in red ink. "We only ask because we can't afford to lose any more of our own." I closed the file and sat in silence for the rest of the ride. We reached the outskirts of the town just before dawn. The van slowed to a crawl, and I saw a checkpoint ahead, or what remained of it. Chain-link fencing, bent inwards like something had pressed against it. A sandbagged guard post, half collapsed. The town itself was a mess. Roofs collapsed. The order's insignia burned off the side of a metal panel. Windows shattered with dried blood, coloring them red dot. It was a surreal sight. This is what true abandonment looks like. The van stopped, and the guards moved first. I stepped out after, my boots sinking into the mud below. The air hit me hard, filled with salt, rot, and something sweeter. The algae, I thought to myself. Ahead. The road led into the town, narrow streets lined with leaning lampposts. I spotted the algae within seconds, though it wasn't hard. It was growing up the sides of buildings, bleeding from the edges of alleyways, and scattered all over the ground. In some places, it pulsed faintly, like a slow heartbeat. My escort spoke through his mask. "Stay on the marked paths. We'll enter the city center first." I nodded, my eyes scanning everything. It was a sad sight to see schools, parks, and swing sets uninhabited. "Do people still live here?" I asked. The guard hesitated, tilting his head slightly. Officially, no, and unofficially, he didn't answer. We moved deeper into the town, boots splashing through puddles laced with a red hue. We passed a general store, with broken glass in the doorway. Inside, I saw algae wrapped around the shelves like it had grown from within. Then, the first signs of movement. Something shifted 2 blocks down. A figure resembling a human with a bent spine shuffled across the fog. It didn't look at us, just shuffled into the mist. One of the guards raised his weapon. "Don't," I said sharply. He lowered it. I wasn't going to, not unless it gets closer. We continued in silence, the fog thickening as we moved between crumbling buildings. A house-marked primary infection site came into view, the door barely hanging on. "We'll keep watch," the woman said. 10 minutes. I entered fast, and the smell instantly hit me, making me gag. Red algae covered the walls and floor, thick like meat. Although I took all the necessary precautions, this amount of exposure does pose a substantial threat. I crouched, scraped a sample into a vial. It twitched from the other room. I heard a door creak. I froze, looking into the direction of the noise, which suddenly transformed into a gurgling sound. I held still. Something was on the other side, shuffling and dragging itself across the floor. The gurgling shifted into a wet, rasping breath, followed by something that might have been a short word, but I couldn't make it out. I slowly moved down the hallway, careful not to make any sudden movement or sound. The rasping stopped, but something else appeared, just beyond the frame of the doorway at the end of the hall. I saw a shadow twitching, approaching me from the dark. I held my breath. Then it appeared. Its head was covered in algae, the skin stretching over something luminous underneath, as if it had swallowed a light source. It didn't have any hair, its features distorted. One of its arms dragged behind it, fused at the elbow with a slick growth that twitched like it was alive. Crack a broken tile beneath me squirmed. For additional enjoyment, please subscribe to our channel to stay updated with our latest content.